Lincoln Heights Committee of the Whole meeting is now in session. Today's date is Monday, October 27th, 2025. The time is 6:32. Roll call.
Councilwoman Phyllis Baber.
Present.
Councilwoman Nona Calhoun Mumia. No response. Councilman Durance Daniels. No response. Councilwoman Tanya Key.
Present.
Councilwoman Laverne Mitchell.
Present.
Vice Mayor Linda Childs Jeter. No response. Mayor Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey.
Present.
We have 4 who are present, 3 who are absent. We do have a quorum, and for the record, Vice Mayor Linda Childs Jeter is still out due to illness.
Okay, we'll go directly into old business. Old business is listing the second reading of Resolution 2025 R84 of support for the Mill Creek Triangle Trail feasibility study. Our speaker will be coming during the Committee of the Whole meeting, Mr. Wade. So he'll be speaking and actually doing a presentation. So Ms. Randolph does have in your packet information regarding the Mill Creek Triangle Trail feasibility study. I think last year, council and amongst other municipalities gave money for the feasibility study, and the village's dollar amount, I believe, was $2,500. So I asked him would he come to speak because we do have the resolution listed as 84. Is there any questions regarding the resolution? Okay. Which looks like the study will outline a vision to expand safe, accessible walking and biking connections throughout central and northern Hamilton County. So we'll have a presentation which he's listed to be the speaker at the 7:30 meeting. So that's what that one's for. Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
as a point for the community and the residents who might be interested, can we be sure to post this feasibility study on our website, as well as make a link available on our social media communications pages? Because people are asking, and we don't have the exact details unless we have this, and it just makes sense to just put it out there so they can read it at their convenience.
I may even ask him if he can condense it, because how many pages is it, Ms.
I think
Randolph?
it came up to 131 or something like that in that
Pages?
ballpark.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll ask them, is there any way they can condense it so we can break it down? But if not, we can list it that way. But we will make sure to get that on the website.
Yeah, or just asking for a digital file and just upload the digital file.
That sounds good. Thank you. List that down to make sure. Okay. After that, then we have our new business. Is there any new business? Okay. Then we have our supplemental agenda. That's the first reading of Resolution 2025 R91, authorizing the finance director to transfer monies between program codes known as departments in departments. This has to do with the street maintenance and repair fund. Mr. Brown, could you elaborate, please?
Yes, so this resolution is presented in advance as a preemptive measure to get ahead of any inclement weather that we may experience in the coming months. And so we are attempting to move monies from program codes so that way we can have additional tonnage secured of salt. So that way, in the event that there's ever a lot of snow on the ground, we'll have plenty of salt in our coffers. So that way we'll have that to address any road closures.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Brown?
Yes, I do. So, Mr. Brown, when we talk about moving, transferring funds from contractual services, are these contractual services, why are we moving them from contractual services as opposed to having enough in our supplies and materials anyway?
Yeah. So that is what exists currently is based on the previous budget and the appropriations associated with that. And our finance director and I communicated on how that has been done previously, how certain budget outlays are established. And to my understanding, the budget outlay for public works, specifically supplies and materials, was based on a 10% increase from the previous expenditure. And so when there are instances where we need to make purchases that was going to help our operations as we prepare for inclement weather, that is precisely why we're moving those monies in advance.
So that 10% wasn't enough. Because I do recall that there was an automatic 10% increase in the budget. So, but this wasn't enough, therefore we're taking it from contractual services.
Precisely. So the amount associated with the additional tonnage was I think it was like 8,700 or something like that. There was maybe like 7,500 in supplies and materials. So we're having to move monies to make sure that we have enough to take care of the additional tonnage.
Okay, I would just like to address this particular subject a little later.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown, I did have a question since we're talking about salt. Will the staff that you have, I thought we mentioned in a finance meeting or something regarding them getting additional training to prepare for the winter?
Yeah. Hold on just one moment. Let me pull that up, actually. It was something that was raised to my attention through Ohio Local Technical Assistance Program. This is, let me pull this up. Okay, so they have a snow and ice circuit rider class, and this is for Ohio local agencies, and this is formal training associated with snow and ice removal. Their representatives from Ohio LTAP will be scheduling trainings through December 2025 and February 2026 in preparation of the inclement weather. I'm going to be reaching out to them to get that on the books for December, so that way we can have all the formal training taken care of. And we'll certainly invite anyone from council that may be interested in participating in that, or just so that way you can be aware of what that process is. I'm more than happy to extend the invitation to you all as well.
Okay. Any other questions? My mind was just going thinking about it, because I know, well, what I will say is I know in the past winters, I'm sure the Public Works Director, Mr. Williams, has mentioned how they were, well, actually how they were strategic last winter when they would start with the most streets, the main streets, and then after that, they would do the inner streets. So I'm hoping that possibly we could get something on our website to inform our residents regarding what streets they hit, and I'll actually encourage them to take their, the problem they had is vehicles parked and unable to get through. So I'm thinking maybe we should consider putting some information on our website regarding snow, even mention about people including their batteries beginning of the year.
Yes.
Things like that. So
Yeah, there are many considerations associated with notice, especially on the website. We kind of flushed that out a little bit last Friday. I will reserve space and time to talk about all of that during the regular council meeting and within my report. But yes, I'm in agreement that should be posted on the website and through our social media platforms. Yeah.
okay, sounds good. All right. Okay. All right. Is there any miscellaneous business?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I do have some miscellaneous business as it pertains to the minutes from committee of a whole. Some of the minor items I've already addressed with the clerk, and I'll make sure she gets them because I know she's busy doing her clerk duties now. But I did have information that I wanted to highlight that was not really spelled out in the minutes from committee of the whole. If you give me a second, I apologize, my computer is going through an update, so I can't pull it up on my computer. But in our committee of the whole, in our minutes, give me a second so I can find it. Regular council, where is it? I don't have it in front of me. I don't know what page it's on, but there is some. Can I just look at it just for a sec? Thank you. Just so I can tell you what page it's on that I'm referencing.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It's not on the committee of the whole. That's why I can't find it.
Yeah.
It's on the council meeting minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's on council meeting minutes. And it is on page 16. In council meeting minutes were the discussion and miscellaneous business as it pertained to the motion regarding the 3-2-1 vote.
Which
Under-
bullet is that, Ms. Kate?
I'm sorry?
Which bullet?
It is, I'm going to get ready to give you the bullet now. Under miscellaneous, under the third open bullet, where the village solicitor responded
Thank you.
regarding the American rule. And what's noted here is what he talked about that was codified in 2008. What's not noted here was his statement regarding he doesn't recall doing any legislation after that point. He did specifically say that that he did not recall drafting any legislation. So we're on page 16, and he spoke about it kind of as a matter of fact. And I would like to have that in the minutes because, as we found, is that there was actually legislation that he did in fact draft, which was ordinance number 2024-05, I believe, and I apologize because once again my laptop isn't up, so I wanted to pull what the clerk was able to pull for us, which was an ordinance that was voted upon by council that reverted the rules back, that then in fact would make that motion pass because of the rule that was put in place at that time. And so as a matter of record, I wanted to make sure that that portion was included, number one, in the minutes. Number two, we talked about the minutes of one of the previous meetings where there was some conversation back and forth as to whether or not the clerk said the motion passed, didn't pass, but the minutes show that that motion did not pass. I did communicate with the clerk. She said that she would update the records, showing that that motion did in fact pass because of the ordinance that was passed in 2024 made it into effect, that that vote did pass. So I wanted to make sure that we put that on record about that conversation and to notify council that we do have an ordinance 2024-05 that was not available through codification. It was not available readily through the website. And we questioned that as to why it wasn't. There was some conversation back and forth, but I want to make sure that we are transparent. We present the information. I was a little alarmed when I found the information through another council member and a person who was outside of council who notified us that that ordinance had actually passed, that the individuals that was at this table were actually part of that vote. And there was some extensive conversation around that ordinance, and no one seemed to have recalled that until Councilmember Daniels specifically asked Councilmember Munya. And so I want to make sure that, you know, we know what we're voting for. We know our rules of council. These matters, our votes matter, and it matters in which how we know to vote, how we do vote, and make sure we know what passes and what doesn't pass. So I just want to make sure that we address that here in miscellaneous business, because it was a miscellaneous business that we have been talking about it.
Question.
Oh, and one more thing, I'm sorry, before you ask the question, I would like to have that legislation, that ordinance 2024-05 entered into the record, and it can be entered the record from today's meeting, I'm fine with that, but at some point entered into the record based on this conversation. Thank you.
So you want 2405 entered into the record for tonight? You're not talking about the last meeting, because we didn't talk about it at the meeting in which this is being held. Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to understand. Well, I was going to ask something else, but since you brought this up, what are you asking to have happen with 2024-05 for the record? So it's going to be stated in the committee of the whole minutes tonight.
So we'll state it in the committee of the whole meeting minutes tonight, because we addressed it in committee of the whole previously,
Okay.
in our previous meeting. Mr. Desai wasn't here, so we couldn't
You're
ask
saying
him.
Committee of the whole meeting, this one.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Not this
But
one,
I want,
but I mean, wait a minute. I'm trying to.
well, hold on a second,
confused.
because I'm asking the clerk, are you following me? If you're not,
Yes.
okay, thank you. So I want to make sure that we address our records. So in a previous council meeting, I want to say it was the last meeting in September, if my memory serves me correct, and I know the clerk can go back and look. We made the motion. There was conversation as to whether or not that motion passed. In the following council meeting, Mr. Daniels brought it up again, and I wanted to go back and just address what should have been done then based on the legislation that we were able to find, which is the ordinance. So wherever it needs to be corrected or amended, it should be done so. What I'm asking for tonight is that, number one, we include in our minutes from our council meeting, from our last council meeting, the statement that Mr. Desai made, which was he did not recall drafting any legislation to the matter. And in fact, he did draft the legislation to that ordinance. And as a matter of fact, when we went back and reviewed the September 2nd, 2024, I believe that's the date. It could be a different date, I forget, but I can get that. I think I got that to the clerk. He had in-depth conversation about that ordinance. And so my concern was we had an in-depth conversation about our rules and how we vote with abstentions, but nobody around the table seemed to have understood or recalled that that legislation was approved, therefore making the motion that I gave, in fact, a passing motion versus a failing motion. Does that clear it up a little bit for you?
A little bit, but it sounds like you want to add something that was not said in terms of the passing motion, because then it was said not to have passed, right?
Well, actually, the clerk went back and the mayor went back, and it's in record that they went back and they looked at the council meeting, and in fact, the clerk did say that the motion passed. But when the minutes came out, it said that the motion did not pass, and that's when we started questioning. So I'm not asking anybody to change anything. I'm just asking us to correct what should have been the proper vote and the motion, so forth and so on.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But for this meeting, you need the ordinance,
I wanted the ordinance entered
right, into the minutes for this.
for today's meeting. Yes.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Okay, is there any other miscellaneous business? Okay.
Just to update on our last miscellaneous business, I have a question on procedure of how will be the best process to be as transparent as possible. So I know last time we passed Resolution 88, which kind of once again allowed us to ask our sheriffs to once again identify anything that they cited and be able to once again anything that they recognize should be a breaking of the code and then cite them. if you go back and read the report that Connie Pillage gave us, Hamilton County Prosecutor Connie Pillage gave us, she even mentioned in there that there were some things that definitely could have been cited, but she felt like they could not have, won those things in court. Once again, just kind of where I think from a transparency standpoint, I think if it's fair, and I'll ask our manager if he thinks this is fair, just providing that video once again, and then outline where she mentioned some things that didn't happen, like she's talking about menacing, which is clear according to the codes, and also looking at further case law. And once again, we brought up that case law as well too in that argument, where other times not only has she prosecuted people for those same type of offenses, but state Ohio case law has prosecuted individuals as well too on a multitude of items. But it starts with the menacing one, and then from there it kind of works its way down. But just providing that online timeline video, it's like 30 minutes on our website potentially, and then once again just allowing our residents, our record, just kind of be held in that front. Now, I don't know if this body can provide an official report or anything of that nature, but if there is some type of rebuttal that we could, put out there, and especially to Connie's report that she provided. Now, I will say in her defense, and I'll let it go at this, she said once again that she has not received everything from the Hamilton County Sheriff. So just going back on that again, just if you think that it's okay, like I said, it's a 30-minute video, and once again just outlines the timeline, and we've redone it based upon Connie's report. So we wanted to once again allow what she's noted, and then once again pretty much giving video evidence just kind of shows otherwise. And just if that is something that we could put on our website, I'll provide that, and if not, I'll ask this body, this council, because we all decided on that resolution what you all think would be best and how to move about that. So that's kind of how I'll start off with Brother Gaines, if you think that'd be possible, and then from there just kind of go to the council and just think what you guys think on it.
Yeah, so last Tuesday, October 21st, I actually went in and I had a meeting with Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. Specific titles elude me, so I mean no disrespect when I mention names, but Mr. Chris Ketterman, Stephen Minich, and Josh Fye. So I wanted to make sure that I communicated directly with them, like, hey, this resolution has passed, and I've been instructed to ask you all if all evidence has been provided to Hamilton County Prosecuting Office, Ms. Connie Pillage, and they shared that it was presented to the prosecutor's office, all evidence, and they gave me a tour of the facilities, and it is a very expansive operation, and I can kind of flesh that out offline, but that is precisely why I went ahead and shared the report that was produced on June 11, 2025. I'm not entirely certain if all of council was in receipt of that, but this is something that came across my desk, and this is also something that a resolution that passed. I'm like, let me at least provide the evidence that we do have. So Lieutenant Fye and I have been having very close conversations about this development. So any evidence that we can gather to that effect, we will pursue that as well.
And once again, not to beat a dead horse, and because I do want the council to speak on it as well too. There's certain things I was mentioning there. I think that was once again, as my internet comes up, I'll go through my notes. They talked about Mr. Ruffin being an individual who was a counter protester, like things of that nature, right? You never spoke to Mr. Ruffin, but you identified him in that way. She also mentioned of the fact that menacing could not. Well, I take that back. That racial intimidation could not have been a charge because there was no other misdemeanor counted or that she felt like she believed could have been charged in that manner. When you speak about menacing and you speak about the infractions that took place to the village, I just wonder what evidence was submitted to Connie or submitted to them as well too, because it's very clear that we have residents who are literally crying that they cannot get across the bridge. The bridge was literally shut down before once again, in Connie's report, that the police officers coordinated in that front. No, there was already a traffic stoppage taking place there. And after that traffic stoppage, that's when they decided to shut down the bridge. There's just a multitude of contradictions that are taking place in her report that the video evidence says differently. So if they say they've given her everything, it'd be interesting to see what is everything that is, because I know they did not talk to Mr. Ruffin. And if you're mentioning Mr. Ruffin in the report, an eyewitness, somebody who's identified as a victim, and you don't speak to him, I just kind of think that's a little tough in that manner. But yeah, I'll be done with that on this matter for the night. But I would like to hear from the councilman if they have anything else on this matter.
I am curious to find out the checklist, like versus what she has versus what they have, even though they said they sent that. What is she saying that she received? You know, if they said they sent this, what actually did they send her? And what is it? What is she recording on her list that they have the same information? So I am curious to find out about that. I get what you're saying on that.
And Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think that's the big issue, that we don't know what was submitted to her office.
Yeah.
We have a summation of a report, and we have a summation of the reasons for not pursuing prosecution. But as Mr. Daniels has stated, and as residents have stated, like, there is other evidence. We're calling it other evidence because we don't know what evidence was submitted. And when we go back to the spirit of the motion that Mr. Daniels put on the table, it was because this body never received a direct report regarding what they had found, whether it was confidential information or what have you. It's such that we should have been notified as well. And so I would be hard-fetched to just take someone at their word that they submitted everything, because we have not seen the level of transparency that makes us want to go back to the residents and say, we're confident and we feel and we believe. And until we see that, it's going to be challenging to do that. And so for public relations matter, it's a matter of, now there may be some things that they can't, whatever, like if they found something that, you know, whatever they do in their police matters. But we should know what was submitted to the prosecutor's office so that we can judge whether or not the prosecutor, in fact, is working on behalf of the people. And I think that's what it boils down to. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Manager, for pushing that forward to be sure that we have some transparency in that process and hear back.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Any other miscellaneous?
Just one more for me, and I can address it in council. The manager submitted us their report. Do you want us to hold our questions until council? Because I have a question regarding his report. I know it's not on committee of the whole, and I'm happy to address it then. I just didn't know, I was trying to leave time for your presenter if they're not going to be here, if we have to have them present during council. So what would you?
Because I know he has a report and he wanted to give it at the 7:30 meeting. Is that my understanding?
I have no preference. If you would like me to give it in this meeting, I can do that, or the other, or both. It makes no difference to me.
Wait.
Well, because whatever your request, well, they're watching. I forgot. Committee of the Whole is televised. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So.
didn't know that.
So yeah.
When did that happen?
The Tuesday meetings?
I think
Committee of the whole?
Wait, what
I think
happened?
it
I'm
was
sorry.
2
I was reading the
meetings
report.
ago, I think.
Oh,
I missed
never.
I totally missed the question. I'm sorry.
Committee of the whole is televised?
Yes,
Okay.
it was. Yeah, the last two were.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm happy to ask my question now.
Hey, go ahead.
Well, let's wait for him to give a report, 'cause so I won't be jumping.
Yeah,
Jumping-
yeah, because
jumping the gun.
Yeah, you might get, you may have the answer, so we can wait till your
Okay,
to your
all right.
to your meeting.
I had no idea Committee of the Whole was televised, so it didn't
I
matter
had
to
to
me.
think about it. I was like, oh, I looked back there and saw Keith. They're like, yeah.
I saw her working. I thought she was just prepping for council.
All right,
That works. I like it.
all right. right, so you'll be giving it at the 7:30? Hey, okay. All right, yeah, because we have a small
Agenda.
agenda anyway, so that was gonna give it, that will give us time enough for our speaker for the night and our hearing from the residents and things like that. So, any other miscellaneous? If there's not, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Who made it?
We're not used to this
Mr.
time.
Daniels? It's adjourned at 7:04.
7:04.
Yes, ma'am.